Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We're down here in the barbershop studio as always. Jarrett, thank you for joining me again, and happy day to you and to all of the Real Madrid fans out there. City fans, I apologize. It just did not happen again for you guys this year. Care to comment?
I don't really even know where to start. This is such a weird thing because I don't want Real Madrid to win another Champions League. Okay, like now that Real Madrid's in the final, I'm rooting for Liverpool.
Agree.
It's the first time I've ever rooted for Real Madrid in the Champions League. These two legs. And
it was a very weird vibe.
I hated it. I hated it.
I hated it with all my being.
With that said, as a neutral, these two legs were some of the best Champions League football. It is one of the best ties maybe ever because you had so many goals.
So many.
It ended 6-5. 11 goals over 2 games. Fire. Just unbelievable fire. And I'm just going to read some stuff I see on the internet. This was ESPN FC put up on Twitter. 3 goals versus Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. PSG. This is Benzema. 4 goals versus Chelsea, who are the UCL holders, Champions League holders. 3 goals versus Man City, who are the first in the Premier League. That dude is golden ball bound.
Ballon d'Or. And
he's going to be on the French team for sure, which has a chance of maybe repeating. I mean, they're probably there's only 6 or 7 teams that can win the World Cup, and they're in that conversation. So he's Ballon d'Or. His hands are tightly around that because he also won La Liga. I don't know what's going to happen in the final. My gut says that Liverpool will win the final, but I don't know. I wanted to reach out and talk to people after this and kind of check in with the City fans, and I texted Nick, and Nick was like, I was like, hey, give me a quote for the game, and he said, soccer can be a cruel game. And then he said, and I think this is sarcastic, he said, Prem's more important though, right? And I also reached out to Kate Damali, and she, per usual, left me with some fire, and I think, is she still texting? Well, she said, I said, you have a quote for the pod tonight? And she sent the crying face, which, of course. Then she said
the crying, the actual cryy face?
Yeah, the crying face with the tears streaming down.
Streaming down, yep.
And then it said, if being honest, here's a quote. The UCL is a challenge that I hope one day City will achieve and lift the trophy. It'd be a nice addition to the already bloated trophy cabinet. Much like any quote-unquote playoff format, you just need a good luck. You just need a good run and a bit of luck. The real test is coming out on top after 38 games. It's always the Prem for me. So I said, you want the Prem over the Champions League? Are you sure if you had to choose one? And she said, Prem always. And she said, be nice to us and please beat them this weekend and in the FA Cup. We need the Bolos versus Liverpool to pay off. And I said, and then she said, wait, off the record quote is, wish we took the 2-year ban.
Yeah, I was actually mentioning that.
You were mentioning that in the chat during the game.
I was saying, well, this seems kind of apropos, got their just desserts because they shouldn't have been even in the Champions League this year based on their appeal of financial fair play, which was always a little shady to me that they appealed and won. It's who are they paying off, And
when you mentioned that, I mentioned that Liverpool only got in the final, only got into Champions League, as you were saying, and I put the video up recently on Bolos because Alisson had that last-minute header, or the header to go through and get top 4 at the end of last season. So it's kind of been a storied tale for both these teams. Liverpool didn't start off the season the best, and Real Madrid also didn't, and people didn't think Real Madrid would win the league. At the beginning of La Liga this year, it was Valencia and Sevilla were playing really well. Even Espanyol was playing really well. Barcelona had just, fallen off and is still falling off. Barcelona's going to go titleless this season. Not King's Cup, the Copa del Rey, not the La Liga, not Champions League. They're going titleless. And here's the other thing. Liverpool is still up for the quad, which is impressive. I don't know if they can do it because I think they need a lot of things to go right. I mean, they have to play 2 finals against 2 teams that are historically strong in those finals maybe. However, Real Madrid have won 13 out of 16 finals that they've been in. This will be their 17th, and they're going for their 14th Champions League, which is just absolutely crazy. Liverpool will be going for their 7th Champions League. And thinking about the quad, the only thing that's more impressive to me than the quad, is the fact that there's still a possibility that City can end up titleless.
Yeah, they lose to Chelsea. They lose the league somehow. Well, I mean, not somehow. They slip up a few games and Liverpool win out. And
that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all they got
they're
going
bounced out of the FA. They just got bounced from the champions. That's it. I don't think we play them again.
They didn't win Carabao. Who won Carabao? Liverpool?
Carabao beat us in Liverpool. You remember in PKs when Kepa put it over?
Carabao did beat you.
Carabao did beat us.
Just Carabao.
Just
Mr. Carabao.
Just the Carabao. We don't actually play them again. I'm actually not sure of Kate's comment there. I don't think we play City again.
No, she's talking about Spurs.
You guys play City?
I thought she was talking about Spurs beating Liverpool.
Oh, I think she is.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what she was referencing.
Yeah.
Because City, they played Newcastle. That's a win. Wolves, that's a win.
She wants City to win the league, so
she wants City to win, so she needs Liverpool to stumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the four, they play, City has to play Newcastle, Wolves, West Ham, and Aston Villa. 4 teams that are not the strongest and City should take care of. And now City has nothing else to focus on. Liverpool still has to focus on the FA Cup. They still have to focus on the Champions League. An injury now in any of these games that's going to last 2 or 3 weeks will take that player out of those games. They still have a lot of games left in the season in the next month. I mean, we're already, tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo. So, anyways, Jeff, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
Not a big 4th be with you guy.
No? What about the memes where it's Justin Timberlake and he's like, it's gonna be me?
I like that one a lot better.
I like that one too.
That tickles my funny bone a little more.
I never put it up, but I always like that someone does it every year. And I see it and I'm like, oh, it's cute.
Pretty funny. Because I am like late to the party on that one. My wife showed that to me and I was like, holy shit, that's hilarious.
People have put that up forever.
People have been putting that up for years. And like she just showed it to me like last year.
Oh.
I was like out of the Twitter game for a while. I was
out of the Twitter game?
Yeah, I was out of the Twitter game. I was into the Twitter game like way back in 2012. Like I was like
why didn't you stay on and grow a mass following?
Yeah, I just like wasn't into it. It was getting very toxic. There was a lot of like you had to like spend a lot of time on it. It just took a lot of like your resources. Like it took a lot of your energy away from other things.
A lot of your resources.
Yeah, like my mental resources.
Jeff.
And so I quit.
God.
I quit the Twitter game until like probably last year, maybe the year before. And it's still terrible. Still terrible. It's still a place you can just get lost for hours and hours commenting and doing all these things.
Retweeting,
tweeting.
I've only been active on it for about 6 months. It's hilarious.
It's something else. Either way.
I actually have, if we want to continue to talk about the Champions League, I have some other tweets that Tony Kroos put out 4 smiley face emojis in the last like 2 hours, like about 3 hours after the final. That's what he tweeted. I mean, that is a troll of City. Like, that is just a troll. And then what else? This was kind of crazy. Camavinga, how old do you think he is?
27.
19.
Hachi machi.
Camavinga for the first goal. Cross to Benzema, who assisted Rodrigo. Camavinga for the second goal. Wins the ball back to start the attack. Camavinga for the third goal. Plays the pass to Valverde, and Benzema wins the penalty. He really did come on and make the difference.
Yes.
And the crazy thing for me as a Chelsea fan is that Hazard and Courtois went there to win the Champions League. Now, I do not believe Courtois won it with them in 2017. I think he went in 2018. So Courtois went there to win the Champions League. He wanted to go to Real Madrid and win the Champions League because he was like, and in that time, Chelsea has since won the Champions League. So Hazard also went to Real Madrid because he wanted to win the Champions League. Just like Hazard came to Chelsea to win the Champions League. It never worked out. He won 2 Europa Leagues, whatever. So as a Chelsea player, I would like to see them win the Champions League, but I don't want Real Madrid to win. So anyways, them left wanting Liverpool to win. And what do you think? What's your prediction for the final? And we're going to probably do a full final episode where we can look at lineups and we can go through squad rotation and what we think is going to happen, etc.
Well, you're going to see both best lineups because it's after the season ends, so they can both just play whoever. Best team. I think that for Liverpool, they have their front three. They can rotate. And I know Bobby Firmino was hurt for a little bit, but it wouldn't be him starting anyway. It would be Salah, Mane, and either Jota or Diaz, and I think Diaz is in better form right now.
I mean, Diaz came on and made the difference.
Yeah.
He subbed him at half, and he came on, and as soon as he came on, everything changed. Diaz is just a lot more one-on-one aggressive in the wing, and he just creates more space. Obviously, I have a huge bias because he's Colombian, and I just think the world of him. But if you watch that game, he won the player of the game. He came on and made the difference.
Yep. So I think that'll be the front three. I don't think Jota will get the start, which allows Klopp to play Jota more at like the run up into that game. So that's what I expect. That's who I expect to play on Saturday or Sunday whenever they play Spurs this week. I expect probably Firmino, Salah, and Jota. I expect Mane and Diaz to come on as subs if the game's not going well or they need like somebody to come on, which isn't great for Spurs because that's ridiculous. But and then they have players like they can rotate in and out like Henderson and Konate, and they're they got Gomez back, and we'll probably see more of him in the last couple games. But I don't expect them to have much issue with the last couple of games of the season, especially like injury and fatigue or whatever. It seems like they managed pretty well, and we'll see. I think it's on paper a better team than the Real Madrid team, especially like with just the age of the team. Like Real Madrid's some old guys. I mean, there's no ballers, but like.
You know what? They figured it out. I was really impressed today. They had Nacho starting at center back, and they only let City score 1 goal.
And it was a Mahrez like fucking, well, not a worldly so much, but like a laser.
It was a well struck ball. I mean, I'm impressive. There was I think I saw a thing, and it was like chances of City to go through was 99% in the 90th minute, because obviously Real Madrid had to score 2 goals, and then Rodrigo literally scored 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Also, they were playing at home, and that made a huge difference for them. I think
that made a huge difference.
12 man.
Because last year they were playing in the training ground when they played Chelsea in the semis, and we beat them away, and we also beat them at home where we tied them. But it wasn't the same Real Madrid. This Real Madrid team looks super inspired, and I'm just hoping it's not going to be a boring final.
Like
we've had some kind of
what's like a 0-0.
Yeah, I mean the Chelsea final, if you're not a Chelsea or City fan, was fairly boring. It was, Chelsea just kind of packing it in, trying to counter City, 70% possession. So anyway, I want to talk about week 36 because that's the week we're going to talk about. But before we do, I do not want to miss out on the fact that Tottenham beat Leicester, Arsenal beat West Ham, and Everton beat Chelsea, because it's an absolute shit show. And I'm sure there's a conspiracy theory there that says Chelsea lost so we can make Franklin feel better. But it's out of control, and Chelsea are somehow allowing Spurs and Tottenham to dream that they can finish in third. I do not think either of them will finish in third, but I don't know. Chelsea tied Everton, a team like if Chelsea beats that Everton team, I'm pretty sure that they're getting relegated.
Yeah, I also don't think Spurs. So yeah, Arsenal's games are easier in my opinion than the Spurs the last couple of games, just because Spurs have to play Liverpool. So they're going to drop more points just based on this weekend, even if they drop 2 points.
They being Spurs.
Yeah. And so I just don't think they have a shot at third. I think Arsenal have the shot at third. I honestly think Spurs are going to finish fifth. That's just that's how I feel. It's the Spursy thing. But I mean, in what scenario have Spurs ever come through in the past couple of years to exceed expectations? They've usually either they've met expectations or hit a little bit below, like going into conference league and stuff, all that shit. I think finishing fifth is enough for that. They're a Europa League team right now. But I also don't know if Arsenal are a Champions League team right now. I mean, they've had some really good luck the last couple of weeks, with the games that they've won. They've played some beleaguered teams. Beleaguered in the sense that the teams didn't seem to care or had rotation because they had Europe, and that sort of thing. The Chelsea game was the craziest stumble for Chelsea. That was so unlike them, like their defense shitting the bed, like rotating out a bunch of players.
I mean, Chelsea in the last couple of weeks, we've shit the bed. The Everton game, we gave the ball away, so Richarlison scores. The Real Madrid game, at home, we gave the ball away 2 times, so Real Madrid scores. Benzema's not going to miss those. The Arsenal game, we gave the ball away for 3 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Our defense just has been, if we win the Arsenal game, we win the Everton game. Third is a lock. You guys, neither of you can touch it at that point. And I think we actually beat Real Madrid and we play City in the semis. I mean, if we don't have those goals, Real Madrid capitalized. Real Madrid should be in the final. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying the only team that for me can beat Chelsea when we're firing is ourselves, and we've proven that. We just make bonehead. I mean, we literally give goals away.
It's literally like this like race for Champions League spots has been like fascinating to watch because it's like 3 teams who are just like have seemed like are in such mediocre form. None of them are like necessarily bad teams or like mediocre teams. They're just like in mediocre form. Like Spurs were rocking and rolling. You thought they were going to cruise right to 4th, and then they like lose to Burnley and like tie Burnley. I don't know. They lost and then they lost a couple games and tied a game. So it was like a run.
You beat City and then lost to Burnley.
Yeah,
within 4 days.
Yeah, exactly. Beat City, lost to Burnley, which was actually that Burnley makeup game was from that game that they refused to heat up their field. Remember, it was like that winter game, which I think is hilarious. But so that and then it's just a weird. And then Arsenal weren't playing well, and then suddenly they got lucky and played some. And I am going to say they got lucky. Like James, like Shirer might not like that they got lucky, but they've been lucky. They've been lucky that they've played some teams that have just basically just given them goals.
Chelsea gave them goals.
Yes.
To not say that is to not understand what happened.
And then when they played West Ham, they had to battle that game to win that game, and they didn't play Souček, and they didn't play Antonio in that game. So, and they didn't play Yarmolenko. They started Bowen up top.
If Arsenal finished 4th, it's not a fluke. It can't be a fluke because over 38 games, even if Chelsea gave goals, even if West Ham had rotation, over a 38-game season, I think it's a hard thing to argue that they were lucky. Are they in a streak of good fortune in the last couple games? I do believe so.
They complained about having a bunch of injuries and got a game postponed.
It really comes down to the 12th of May.
I think it'll be decided before that.
You think 4th will be decided before that?
Yes.
You guys are probably going to lose to Liverpool. They will probably win this weekend. That's going to be a 5-point gap. Even if you beat them in the NLD, you still need them to stumble.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be decided before the 12th. But the question is, will Chelsea stumble?
The Arsenal-Everton game in the last week could be one of the most fire games because Everton could need those points to solidify not being relegated, and Arsenal could also likewise need those points to make sure that they're in Champions League. That may be the best game. Obviously, the City and Liverpool games will also be watched on the last week, but that Everton-Arsenal game might have the most significance out of all the other games. Anyway, do you want to talk about week 36?
Sure.
We don't have to. We can talk about whatever you want, Jeff.
I mean, we talked about the Spurs game, which matters. Who is Chelsea playing?
Who's Chelsea playing this week?
Wolves.
Let me look. Let me get it up.
They're playing Wolves.
Yeah, let's start though with Brentford, Southampton on Saturday, May 7th.
I really thought Brentford was in some good form, and then they got smacked down by Liverpool. Oh, that's who Spurs.
They got smacked down by United too.
Oh, United too. Yeah.
That's
it was United, and that surprised me a little bit, just because United has been pretty poor.
They've been really off,
and they've been, yeah. So either way, like if you look at the stat, like if this team didn't have Ronaldo, like he scored literally all of their goals this season.
He's scored, and I put this up on the Bolos Instagram, so you can go look at this. I stole it from ESPN FC. Out of their last 10 goals, Ronaldo scored 8 of them. One of them was scored by Fred, and one of them was scored by Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. It is actually, like you said it earlier on, it was like kind of like a joke. Oh, they're just Ronaldo vibes. They're certified Ronaldo vibes. If Ronaldo is not in that team, they're 9th or 10th.
Absolutely. 110%. I mean, he has to get service and stuff from players on that team, so it's not. I mean, but he can clinically finish. I don't think there's anybody else on that team that can put balls in the back of the net like he can. I mean, okay, maybe there's another striker that can score 4 or 5 of those goals, but not. How many goals does he have this season? Like 12 or something?
In all competitions, I think he has like 19.
Yeah. Okay. So, 19 goals. Yeah, there's nobody else on that team. Maybe Cavani, but he's only going to score a couple of those goals. Some of those goals are just clinical finishes that what Ronaldo does and what he's always done.
It's crazy that he's still scoring goals on a crap team. It is if he's on Chelsea, I think we're talking about this in the chat. If he's on Chelsea, probably got 20 goals this season.
Premier League goals.
Probably going for the Golden Boot because he would get so much service.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they're still looking up at top 4 and it's within their grasp. Unbelievable. Unreal.
They can't.
But
they're not going to.
But they're still on 57 points or something. No.
Let me look. I mean, I looked at it the other day and they're on 58 points. I guess it's still possible. The problem is they played 36 games, so they only have 2 games left.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So
they have
a max of 64 points, and Arsenal's already on 63.
Right.
So unless Arsenal loses all their games, United wins all their games, it's kind of not going to happen. So
right.
Anyways, let's look at week 36. I am dying of an allergy attack here. I don't know what's happened. I feel like I'm something in the basement. Maybe I'm allergic to Real Madrid in the final again. But Brentford, Southampton, let's actually, because we're getting towards the end of the season, let's only talk about games of consequence, meaning relegation or Europe. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
So, let's see. Brentford's playing Southampton.
Both teams won't be relegated. So
Both teams won't be relegated. Let's not talk about it. Burnley, Aston Villa. Burnley is fighting, and this is going to be at Turf Moor. Can Burnley beat Aston Villa?
Can Burnley beat Aston Villa? Yes.
You think they can?
Will they?
In their current form, since they let Lord Sean Dyche go, they have been. I think they won 3 of 3. They've been unbelievable.
Yeah, they've taken 9 points. Yeah, I mean Aston Villa is just kind of mediocre. I mean they got Stevie G doing his thing, but I got nothing. I don't really have an analysis on either one of these teams. I don't know what the identity of each of these teams are. They just kind of run around and hopefully somebody fucks up and they score. And the only thing I can say is that Burnley hasn't been letting goals in.
I think Burnley win this.
Yeah.
And if Burnley win this, let's look at the table. They're going to have 37. I think that they're out of
relegation talk.
Normally you crack 35, you're out, but this year I think you have to crack 40. But with 37 and the amount of games left, it's really going to come down between Leeds and Everton.
For sure.
Watford are essentially mathematically out.
I just think because Leeds give up too many goals. Burnley still Burnley have a negative 15 goal differential, meaning they've lost a lot of 1-0 games. Or they've lost a lot of games by a goal. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Of all those bottom 6 teams, they have the least amount of the smallest goal differential. Leeds is on negative 34, Everton's negative 20, Watford's negative 37, Norwich is negative 49, Southampton is negative 17. Remember when I said was it me that I said in the beginning of the season that Southampton was going to get relegated?
Yeah, and you had Southampton, and I think I had Crystal Palace. One of us at Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace definitely. I mean, they're 41 points. Southampton are on 40 points. I think they're both safe.
They're both safe.
But Burnley, if they get 3 points, I mean that's inching Southampton closer to 16th place. Right? So they lose the last couple games. They have 3 games. They lose all those games. Burnley wins all their games. They're above Burnley. Leeds wins all their games. They're above. So Everton can't catch Southampton on 40 points. But
no, once you hit 40 points, I think it's a wrap.
I think you're good. All right, so we're saying Burnley versus Southampton. Burnley's going to win. I agree with that.
No, it's Burnley versus
Southampton.
Aston Villa.
Burnley versus Aston Villa. I still think Burnley's going to win. Sorry. It was Southampton, what? Southampton Brentford? Man, there's some low.
It's Burnley Aston Villa. Let's go with Burnley
matchups.
wins. The next game is Chelsea Wolves. We're only going to talk about this because both teams are still in European competition. Wolves may get into the Conference League or maybe in Europa.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, they might.
I think Chelsea wins this. We're at home, and we're coming off a loss at Goodison. And fun fact, we almost went to that game at Goodison to see Chelsea lose 1-0. I'm so glad I didn't go over to England, fly into Heathrow, get a car, drive all the way to freaking Liverpool to see Everton beat Chelsea.
That would have
be
been
just distraught.
super dark.
It would be.
I mentioned that last weekend, and you're like, "Holy shit!"
There's a reason why we didn't go.
Yeah, it was written. In
We're
the stars.
gonna go in the fall, but I'm glad we didn't go to this game. I got Chelsea in this game. The next game is Wolves Watford. Crystal Palace Watford.
I want to say one thing about the Chelsea game. I know I always do this. You're about to move on to the next game, and then I start talking about it.
It's
Apologies.
fun. It's normally
This
just Spurs. It's normally like a 30-minute diatribe on
Spurs.
Well, it really depends if they play Son and Kane next to each other or like staggered. Because when they do that, the false 9.5 of
let's
Son
not talk.
just rocks the fucking socks. You know, come on, you Spurs.
That's a good voice. But no, what I wanted to say about Chelsea is if they start Lukaku, if Tuchel starts Lukaku.
I don't think Lukaku starts the rest of the season. He's such a dumpster
so
fire.
bad.
We actually can't play. Had we had won against Everton, we would have had the points in the games to kind of calm down and be like, all right, we'll probably finish Champions League. But if we finish outside of Champions League and we're in this also financial distress because we still we don't have an owner right now, it's a problem. The only reason why Tuchel doesn't get fired is because there's no one to fire him.
Right.
Because that would just be like a shitting of the bed.
All right, let's move on. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that up. Lukaku starts, you lose.
If Lukaku starts, I'm like losing my respect for the club. Crystal Palace Watford, let's not talk about it. Watford's mathematically essentially relegated. The next game, Brighton Hove and Manchester United. I don't think Manchester United can get into Europa.
No, they can get into Europa. I don't think they can get into the Champions League.
Right. Okay. Who do you think wins this one? What do we got? United, Brighton. I just don't. This seems like a game of mediocrity.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I can't consciously. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Conscientiously?
I can't conscientiously pick United to win any games.
They'll surprise you.
But they'll surprise you. They're like
their
Ronaldo
tie
have a
against
hat-trick.
Chelsea. I was just like, this is incredible. This is a dog shit team. We've tied United. We lost to Everton. We lost to Arsenal. We're really,
I want to pick Brighton on this one.
All right, they're at home. They're at the Amex. Doesn't seem unreasonable. I'm going to go the 1-1 tie because I think United just going to just make it boring.
Yeah, that's pretty boring.
The next game, Liverpool Spurs. Do you guys have a chance?
No.
I just don't think. They're in Anfield and they're trying to win the title. I just think that there are levels to this, and you guys are not on their level.
I mean, not many teams are.
No, there's
literally
team.
like one
It's
team.
called Real Madrid.
And they're not. They might even be on their level.
That final could be 4-0 Liverpool, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Benzema will get his goal in the final, right? Because that's what happened. But I think you guys are losing this by 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals, probably like maybe 3-1. I think Spurs might come out and like do what Villareal did and like score quick, and then they'll like get their shit together and put the pressure on and score because they. I mean, Alexander-Arnold and
Seeing Villareal up 2-0 was like
unbelievable.
What world am I living in?
But then they just turn the screws second half.
Well, yeah, they put on Diaz and Klopp sat him down and said, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We're actually 4 or 5 times better than this team."
Yep. So yeah, let's just say 3-1.
Next game, Arsenal Leeds. We should talk about this because Leeds fighting for relegation. Arsenal's fighting for top 4. This is gonna be the Emirates. In my heart of hearts, I want Leeds to win for a bunch of different reasons. Mainly Jesse Marsh. I do not want the American coach to come over in the winter and then get relegated. That would just be a bad look. So I'm going to go Leeds 1-0. Leeds 2-1. I'm going to go Leeds 2-1. What do you think?
You think Leeds are going to win 2-1 over Arsenal?
Arsenal needs to drop a game or 2.
Oh, this is what you want them to do.
Well, I think Leeds are really going to be competitive. However, Stuart Dallas is probably out for the rest of the season. I mean,
The Arsenal midfield will boss this Leeds midfield.
Oh, with no doubt. I'm not.
There's just nothing. I mean, Leeds don't have it this season. Arsenal easy.
If Leeds win, it will be by goal. If Arsenal win, it will be by 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-0 Arsenal.
Next one, Leicester City, Everton. Is this at? Where's this at?
This is a dumpster fire of a game because both teams are just not good. Leicester is not good. Leicester's not good. They've got injuries. They're playing in Europa League, like Conference League. So they're like kind of focusing on that because if they win that shit, they're going to be in Europa League next year. It's unbelievable, but they were bad. Like Spurs are not good, and like I mean they're not bad. Spurs aren't bad, but like they've been pretty mediocre, and they took care of them pretty easily. And Everton are just a dumpster fire. Like Everton got lucky because Chelsea gave them a goal and then just packed it in, Parker de Boos, the whole game. And the fact that they even have 9 wins is amazing to me. So it's like a mini bat game. It's a mini bat game.
This is the mini bat game of the week. Well, yeah, this is the mini bat game.
I mean, Everton need to win. That's the only thing I can say. And Leicester kind of want to win, I guess, but like Everton need to win.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tie.
Yeah,
I hate saying
Everton
ties,
don't tie a lot though. They've only tied 5 games,
but
and Leicester
they're
have 9
fighting for their
9
lives.
ties.
They are fighting for their lives.
I mean, they got a point that puts them at 33 points. That puts them closer to Leeds.
Everton need every single point they can get.
They do have 5 games left. That's what they got going for them.
They do have a game. They have games in hand on Leeds and on Burnley.
But they got to play those games in hand.
Oh, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
It's not really a game in hand if you're worried about it. I'm gonna go a tie.
I like how everybody talks about games in hand like those are automatic wins. Like that's the assumption. Like, and whenever people talk about games in hand, but most of the time those games in hand are played midweek, and they're hard games. They're weird games. Nobody wants to play midweek games.
Not
especially not Everton.
Jesus. Next game, Norwich City, West Ham. This could be the mini bat because West Ham actually really need to win this, and Norwich are super relegated.
What West Ham need to win this to get closer to 6th place? You're saying?
Yes.
So they're not in Conference League next year?
Yes.
Unless they win.
And unless they win the Europa League, a David Moyes special,
which puts them in Champions League, which is just does it put them in? So my question: it puts them in Champions League group stage, or it puts them in the?
It puts them in like the qualifying. I don't think that they're directly in because the 4 will be directly in.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't. So, anyways.
Okay, but either way, that's way better than.
I got West Ham maybe laying down some heat on Norwich. Norwich are so deflated.
They're so bad. Too.
Imagine knowing like. It's like you have to go on like a bunch of dates and you've already broken up and you have to go hang out. That's what that is.
That's what it is.
You have to hang out with your ex.
And they've been doing that
and pay for dinner.
They've been doing that since like November.
Jesus Christ, Jeff. All right, next game, Manchester City, Newcastle. Is there a way that Newcastle will steal a point or something to make this interesting?
Yeah, sure.
I think this game more than any is going to go one of 2 ways. City will run crazy on Newcastle and like 6-0 because they just got knocked out of Champions League. Or Newcastle will frustrate them and tie.
Yeah, I think
it's going to open the door for an amazing final week showdown.
Well, it would be even more amazing if Spurs somehow got a point out of that Liverpool game. Well, actually, we'd just keep everything the same.
If Spurs, you don't want.
Let's just say that for the sake of
actually no, that's what we want. We want City to lose. And we want Liverpool to tie, and then they're on equal points with 3 games left.
Yes, okay. I don't retract my statement.
And then it comes down to goals, and then they're both just going to try to like destroy. I mean, what? Let me look at the goal. I think City have them. Oh my God, the goals are 1 point.
It's 1 point.
A lie.
Yeah, goal differential.
The goals
are
1 point, dude.
Goal differential is 63 for City.
It's almost. It's the goal. So Manchester City have scored 84, 4, and 21 against. Liverpool have scored 86, 4, and 22 against. That is insane, bro. They're the exact same team.
They have the same team.
We should go through and track every team that they played home and away and what the score was. I'm sure it starts to track. Like, we've read these out, but like Klopp and Pep's numbers, they're the exact same since they both came in the Prem.
It's crazy. Well, I am going to say we want City to lose, but I really think it's going to be a tie. It's going to be a draw, probably. Let's be real. If they get anything out of it, it's gonna be. A
I
draw.
don't see City losing. I mean, if they lost, good God, like if City lose and they go titleless with this team, I don't see how City keeps Pep.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the dude 11 years between Bayern and City, and he hasn't.
I actually remember when I brought up. I asked a couple weeks ago whether he would stay or leave if they lost the Champions League. Well, they just lost the Champions League, so where's Pep going? That's the question, right? Where's he going? Because he can't win it with this team. He's cursed. Unless he thinks he can, and he convinces all the players to stay.
If they have Haaland.
Oh my God! If they get Haaland, forget it. It's a real number 9.
Yeah, Kevin Durant to the Warriors. Anyway, let's look at something that we don't really need to look at for very long because I already know. Freaking Oz. So let me open this up. Where am I in the league? Wow, in 11th. Oz is now 35 points ahead of Will Hayden. Mitch is in 3rd. Mitch still got a chance. Nick Bailey falling off. Diego's in 6th, trying to get that Europa League. Jeff, you're in 8th. I am in 11th, which is so brutal. And I think that's it. And I really cannot believe that we are almost done with the season.
It's getting warm down here. We got the fireplace going.
Yeah, my eyes are getting really itchy. I don't know. I'm like my nose. I feel like I've gotten congested throughout this entire episode.
Maybe you're just getting sick.
Maybe I'm getting sick.
Well, what I wanted to bring up, this is just Chelsea related, but I thought I wanted to get your thoughts on this. We thought at the beginning of the week, or maybe beginning of last week, that Chelsea were going to get bought by a consortium of American and British, I think, owners. One partially owns the Dodgers. And the sale was going to be for like $3.6 billion, something like that, and they were finalizing it and getting all the money together. But then, breaking news this week, Roman Abramovich might want that £1.6 billion loan repayment actually be paid back to him because it's $1.6 billion or £1 billion, whatever it is. And if that's the case, then it puts the whole sale into jeopardy because what investor is going to buy a team that's indebted to a oligarch $1.6 billion? That's the real sticking point.
That's the rub.
That's the real rub of this whole deal.
I don't know what's going to happen. I've honestly stepped away from who's going to own Chelsea because I just know the club will endure and it will continue to move on. Every time I go on Instagram and I follow a couple only Chelsea accounts, every day there's an update.
It's like the world.
I follow
is burning,
Twitter.
right?
Every single day there's breaking news. I feel like it's like Wolf Blitzer.
Now on breaking news,
I'm like, dude, obviously it's breaking news. There's always breaking news. So like I have honestly.
Yeah, but this is more than breaking news.
But every single day there's a new update. There's a new twist.
There's
and
not new, but every day there isn't a new twist. Every day there's like a new perspective on it. But okay, that's just doing business. But like Roman Abramovich saying, "Oh no, that loan, we're gonna just forget about it," like, and then just recently saying, "Oh, I want that paid back." That's breaking news. That's like a big deal.
It is a big deal. But
that's a big deal. And I think it's actually a good thing in a way because then it doesn't break financial fair play because then it's not a gift to the. Basically, we know that he's been basically bankrolling the club and with his own private money, and whatever. That's another debate. But him not wanting that money back puts into financial fair play questions because all you guys have been doing basically for the last 10 or 15 years or whatever it is you've been buying players, and he's been paying for it. And you're not really supposed to do it. That's not really how it's supposed to work. So him asking for the money to be paid back will actually be good for the clubs as moving forward because then obviously you don't get sanctioned. There won't be all these crazy things. But in terms of like an investor coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put all my money into this business," but the business owes $1.6 billion. It's been not profitable for 20 years. It's generally not what people want to be putting their money into.
Yeah, we'll see. You can get billions of dollars if you have the collateral for like 1% right now because it's fiat and it's not worth anything. It's not like Elon took out $46 billion of his money. He took a lot of loans and leveraged it against his stock options at Tesla, SpaceX, and
Sure.
the Boring Company and all that. So I guess my point is somebody will buy it.
But suddenly the club isn't a club that owes 1.6 billion. Isn't the value of that club is 1.6 billion dollars less? Like,
I know.
So you're not going to buy a club for that much money.
But I'm saying, but I'm saying, I guess I'm not focused on it. And I know, like, I'm a Chelsea fan, I should be focused on it. I'm just not. I'm more focused. For me, it's bigger for the club if we get in top 4. If we somehow drop that, that's a huge issue. Because then we don't have ownership. And then the owner's not going to want to jump in a club that's not in Champions League. It just throws everything. I'm just focused on the things that I feel like as a fan I can focus on to control. I don't know who's going to buy this thing. I don't understand the inner workings. Roman he didn't want the 1.6. Now he wants the 1.6. It's like following the Kardashians. It's just like a lot of things I can't, but I can watch a game and analyze it and try to wrap my head around how are we going to win the next game.
I guess, but like that's being a very like that's taking that view of the club that you support is like a very like. That's a very privileged thing to like to be able to say, right? So like all I care about is the games. Well, your club is bigger than the games. It's bigger than like this is a guy who supports like his dealings in his past, are catching up with the club, and I think that's like a broader conversation of like Chelsea as a whole.
Yeah, and we've had that. Yeah. But I just don't know how long
like to just say like I know, but I tend to disagree
that
like
forever.
I know, but like you can tend to I tend to disagree that like you just want to like block out all the noise. Like come on, I mean like
I read about it, but I don't like
that's happening.
It is a real thing that's happening, but I think what's more important for the club is to finish top 4 and then like step away from the summer, and then they're going to figure it out. I don't think we're going to have an owner in the next 3 weeks, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't think an owner is going to buy the club right now until we know we're in Champions League. Honestly,
I don't think it has anything to do with Champions League.
I think it does have to do with Champions League because in the more immediate future, you're like, what are we doing here?
No, because the owners of this club, the prospective owners of the club, don't care about Chelsea. They don't care about Chelsea. They care about making a business investment.
Right, and in order to make it a business investment, you're going to want to have your brand in the most top tier club competition that currently exists.
No, you want to not have to pay back $1.6 billion and pay $3.6 billion
if they structure the deal.
Yeah, I think I just fundamentally like the Champions League. Yes, it brings in a couple $100 million, but like in the grand scheme, like in the grand scope of like owning Chelsea, they're not buying it for next year. They're buying it for
they're
the
buying
next
it for
10
life.
years.
They're buying it.
Yeah, they're buying it for whatever. How many years? So like they know that whatever money they put into the club, they're going to be in Champions League within 2 years. So like
I don't know if that's guaranteed. Listen, hear me out. I don't know if that's guaranteed. If this guy comes in, or this group, or this woman, or this lady, whoever it is, they may not, as you've said, invest. There's 3 options that can happen. You can invest as much money as Roman Abramovich. You can invest less money, or you could somehow invest more money. I don't think anyone's going to come and invest more money. I think someone's going to probably invest less money. So if they drop out of the Champions League, we're not in a good place right now. We're going to lose Rudiger in the summer. We're going to lose Azpilicueta soon.
I also think like
Thiago Silva is old. We have Lukaku, who is a lug.
Like, yeah, but you've been making buys based on like market value rather than and like flashiness.
This is
like,
what I'm saying. I don't think the club is in a good position, which is why I think it's really important for us to finish top 4.
I just don't think Champions League is like the determining factor.
Here's why it is. Because if I'm a buyer, I'll drive down the price a couple $100 million, saying, "Oh, you guys aren't in Champions League." It changes the complexity in the short term, which is where the sale is. For the investor, I
don't think the Champions League is the. I don't think Champions League is a linchpin to this deal.
It's not, but I think it would allow leverage for the person that wants to buy it.
I think you're over. I think. In my opinion, this is my opinion about Champions League in general. I think Champions League is this like fucking MacGuffin that like everybody has been like pursuing, and it's not as important to players, and it's not as important to like owners and all that stuff. It's a good thing to have a feather in your cap, but in terms of like running a club, I don't think it's like the end all be all. And that's my opinion. And I think it hurts players, and I think this Champions League top 4 thing has become the fucking MacGuffin of the world, and it's like it's not as like prestigious because obviously they're trying to make another league called the Super League than what everybody wants it to be, like what everybody talks about it being. This top 4 thing is like, it's just like it's become this whole like entity, and it's like it's been blown way out of proportion.
I think you undervalue it.
I think I value it at the level it should be valued at. I think it's like you're talking about like a couple $100, maybe like, I don't know, like in terms of players going to teams because of Champions League, that is a fucking crock of shit, because there are so many teams that make Champions League that are absolute dog shit, and they get bounced after either in the qualifying or in the group stage. And then what good does that get you as a player to get bounced out in the group stage?
Yeah, but if we're focusing on the English Premier League, the top 4 teams that go to the Champions League are some of the biggest clubs, brands, and sports on the planet.
Okay, but what do you...
What I'm saying is your argument about the Champions League, I think, holds in other countries. Like the team that goes to the Champions League from Belgium, no one's impressed. The team that goes to the Champions League from like many of the other European countries, I don't think it holds. But I think in the English Premier League, the amount of money and the amount of prestige and the players that then come to the club and want to go play for those teams, it is a huge thing, and it will direct the direction of the club.
No, wrong. Chelsea are going to be a top club no matter what.
I don't think that that's true.
I do think that's true. I absolutely 100% do think that's true.
I think that honestly, the sale of Roman Abramovich and the buying of Lukaku and just looking at our squad, I don't know if we're going to be in the top 4 next year, and that's my honest opinion.
I like the self-deprecation is much appreciated.
It's not self-deprecation. I'm not being self-deprecating. I'm looking at the squad for what it is. Yeah. One of our best players is fucking 37-year-old Thiago Silva, my guy.
I know. But I think that
we don't have a 10.
We
have Jorginho, who peaked, and now he's on his way down. Rudiger's gone to Real Madrid.
There's so much sludge in the middle of the Premier League table.
I'm not worried about the middle of the Premier League table.
But I'm talking about
Liverpool and City next year.
I'm talking about from literally from 5th to 9th. Because United aren't getting their act together. Ten Hag's not going to come in and make that team that much better. West Ham obviously can't make it through a Premier League season and play in Europe. Spurs are a fucking Spursy. Arsenal are still young and not proven. So Leicester, where does that leave you? That leaves you with a bunch of
I've just seen Chelsea do crazy things in the last decade. I've seen us win the Champions League. Then the next season, I see us win the Europa League and also finish 10th.
Yeah.
It's all possible.
I just getting back to the sale thing. I just don't think that the
Champions League plays a part in it.
I don't.
I think it plays a part in the sale price. It doesn't play a part in the overall buy, but I think it definitely plays a part in the sale price.
Their valuation is a brand, as a brand.
And that brand is watered down when Chelsea isn't in the Champions League, even if it's just for one season.
I don't think.
I'm telling you, I just think Chelsea.
I don't think them them being top 4 in question is putting the sale at risk. It's literally Abramovich going, I want 1.6 billion now.
Yeah, well, that doesn't help.
It doesn't help. It's the exact reason. There's no other reason.
I will eat my words.
That's the only reason why an investor would say, "Oh wait, I don't want to buy this club at that price," because it's not. We're not talking about 100 million. We're talking about 1.6 billion.
I understand.
It's not about Champions League.
I will be surprised.
Man. It's not about it.
I don't think the Champions League are holding it up, but I think it's a thing that people could say, "Well, we'll see." I'll be surprised if the club is sold before June 1st. I'll eat my words.
Well, yeah. Now you can easily say that now because this whole Abramovich thing has happened. It's not because of Champions League.
I don't think it's being held up from Champions League, but I'm saying I do think that influences the price, even just for 100 million, 200 million.
Yeah, but that's not.
You don't have to agree with me, Jeff.
But that's not the reason why the sale is being held up.
I understand why the
fundamentally the sale is being held up because of a guy saying that he wasn't going to get paid back a loan, and now he wants the loan paid back.
I understand that.
That's it.
I understand. But like I said, I'm not going to get caught up in this. I can't control it. I can't control this. You know what I mean? I can't control this. And it changes every single day. One day he doesn't want to get paid.
It doesn't change every day. It doesn't change. None of this has changed.
Every single day I read about somebody new who wants to buy the club.
Literally. Yeah. Not about Abramovich saying he wants to be paid back 1.6 billion. That's a new development.
It's a very new development, in the last 24 hours. But even with that said, I'm just more focused and
There's been 4 or 5 groups that have been looking to purchase Chelsea. There are wildly different owners and wildly different directions this club is taking. And some of them are, some people like him, some people don't. Some of them are one was an English owner, was the consortium of English ties, and then a couple of them have been American owners. The direction of this club is in question based on who the owner is going to be. I mean,
the hard deadline is May 31st. So it says in terms of big names driving success, Beverly is one of the guys. Is in the Abramovich mold. You know, he wants to buy Declan Rice, Harry Kane. I just follow the Shed End on Instagram and I read every day. And like you said, yeah, there's 5 or 6 guys that are trying to buy. Obviously, this Roman Abramovich thing, you know, him wanting to get that money, it's actually quite crazy that he was like, oh, yeah, by the way, I want $1.6 billion paid back. It also speaks to how bad the Russian oligarchs have just been destroyed by Putin's war. You know, he was at one point like, oh, yeah, you guys can take that. Keep it on. It's fine. Just like, you know, take it for the foundation. It's fine. And in 3 weeks to a month, he's been like, no, I need that money back. It's really telling.
So I didn't mean to get in an argument about this, but it is a developing thing, as we've both alluded to. And as you said, May 31st, we're going to have some, maybe the deal won't be done, but we'll know who the owner is, right? Is that kind of the thing? Or is like there's a potential?
No,
it could
I
be
think
extended?
the operating license expires on May 31st, so they have to figure out somebody, or the club is literally just going to be like in a what's the word I'm looking for?
Like receivership or something?
Yeah, it's just going to be like not owned by anybody. It's like an international water situation. But I do think
like squatters' rights, just anybody can come in and just
anybody can come in and just say this is my club.
This is my club.
I mean,
now.
I'm surprised. I know that a Dow was looking at buying 10% of it, and they were just gonna. It was like all these like mildly wealthy people were gonna put in like $600 million and say we own whatever. Well, it wasn't a tenth, but whatever. It was a tenth of whatever the price was. But that's since fallen through. But anyway,
I mean, May 31st is coming up pretty quick.
I'm not. It doesn't bother me who's gonna own the club. Honestly, I'm just not. Let's get top 4. You know, it's all gonna work. It's all gonna work. The club will survive. But that is a privileged opinion because other clubs feel like their owners are the reason why they suck. You know, so.
And it's also like the Premier League is also not going to punish Chelsea for any of this bullshit. But if it was Derby County down in the Championship, they get docked 9 points, and
we'll see.
They're getting relegated.
We'll see. I think it's hard to draw any line in the sand in the world we live in because like 3 months ago, even thinking about this was insane.
Correct.
So honestly, like the world's moving really quickly, and we're about to go in an economic downturn. And you know, I mean, the Fed raised 50 basis points today on interest rates, which is the most it's done since 2000 in the .com bubble. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that, I mean, the Premier League, if this, like, unless they get, I think nothing's going to happen as long as they, like, get their shit together and, like, an owner takes over and all that. But if, like, this goes into, like, a thing past May 31st, then the Premier League might get involved and be like, you guys need to figure shit out because we're not going to.
I'm just surprised.
Keep this ship floating.
I don't know if Roman's going to get that money back. And if he does, it will probably be in a payment system over 10 years. I mean, they're not going to give him a lump sum. It will work itself in. But like you said, it will drive down the viability of profitability in the club, which is obviously you don't want to buy something that's not going to be profitable.
Yeah, and also like they haven't been profitable since Roman's owned the club.
Is that actually true?
I think it's actually true. They've been
or are you
operating
just
as a
saying
loss.
that?
No, I'm not just saying that. I mean, obviously I can't quote the resource because I'm not sitting here in front of it.
Yeah, because just because he's injected money and hasn't asked for it to be paid back doesn't mean the club hasn't been. I mean, I guess it does.
I mean,
because that money hasn't been paid. But
yeah, like if you give like somebody $100 and then you're only making 20.
Right, and you're not asking back for.
Yeah, I just think it's like based on the fact that they've been buying players, like, right? It's
but also like Chelsea, you know, is a global brand. Like they sell millions of jerseys, right? They have like IP rights to all the players, right? Like there are other things that they do to make money, and they do make money.
I think it's beyond that. Like I think,
but I do think it's probably more than Lukaku was cost. I mean, like, that was 120 million sitting on the bench. Chelsea's not a financially run well club, but I think what we've seen
spread those costs out over the contract, so it's like
but I'm saying Chelsea's not a financially well run club. You could say compared to other clubs, but in the world we live in, like the fiat standard, like Real Madrid's still in fucking crazy debt, and they're going to the thing. Like Liverpool is actually the club you want to look at, who's financially sound and has made good buys. You got Konate and Luis Diaz for the same price for $30 million less than you got Lukaku.
I think 40. What was it? 35. I think
it was 40 and 45.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And Lukaku was like 110 and 120. But anyways, this pod has gone way over with us just talking about Chelsea. So
we'll cut it. We'll cut it down.
No, you don't have to cut it down. This will be good.
People gonna listen.
If you made it all the way to the end,
it's just Jared and I are gonna start beating each other up after this.
I don't care. Like I said, I put zero emotion to it anymore.
I don't care either. But like, I care about the
because I just can't control it.
Yeah,
I have so many other things that like I stress about.
Yeah, that's true. And you
Honestly,
can say I like that attitude. You could be like put that towards anything, right? It's like
no, because a lot of other things in my life I can actually control.
Like
but like, who's gonna buy Chelsea?
Oh man, I really hope.
But you could say that about anything in the pod. That's like an easy cop out, right? So like you could say that about like why we even have these conversations.
No, because you know what, I can't watch it play out. I don't get to like see these people go and bid. It's like a live auction. I get to watch a game.
Yeah, that's true.
I get to watch a warm up. I get to look at the subs. I can actually analyze that and feel like I'm mildly invested in that.
Yeah.
But like these billionaires playing, like I have no control.
It just sucks though because these do have like actual consequences in how the club's run and who the players are on the sidelines and you know what I mean, like that.
How the league accepts Roman getting paid back the 1.6, which I think is asinine, and who they let buy is really, really, really setting a precedent because they've just let the Saudi group essentially buy Newcastle, and so the world's like, "What are you guys doing?" It's probably not the best thing to do. Like this guy, the Prince, MBS, you know, we know he cut up a journalist, dismembered a journalist who was a U.S. citizen, like. Against free press, against the West.
Khashoggi.
Yeah, Khashoggi, the Washington Post journalist. So, anyways, it's like, you guys let that happen. Okay. Then this stuff with Ukraine happens. Obviously now, Russian oligarchs are absolute pariahs anywhere they go. And it's like, shine the light on me. Maybe Chelsea shouldn't have had that for so long, you know? We always kind of knew it was shitty, but we just didn't talk about it. So the way that they handle who's going to take over and what those terms are, and if that oligarch is going to get paid back, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I'm not trying to say it's not a big deal. I just feel like of all the things that, you know, one can control from a fan standpoint, you know, I actually would be really interested to see what the official Chelsea supporters group over in London is like saying about all this, you know, because there's obviously must be a sentiment if you took all the vote from all the Chelsea players, all the Chelsea fans of who they want to take over. And I just don't have any idea of who that is.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's similar to like how a lot of Chelsea fans feel around here. They're split, right? So they support their club, but they want to be successful, but they don't want to feel bad, right? They don't want to feel bad about like winning games and stuff because their owner isn't a Russian oligarch, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never felt bad about, but there's
you know
always
what I mean?
been
Like not like I don't think you lose sleep about it, but like you know what I'm saying? Like there's this undercurrent of like. It's not like the money that is going into the club, you know, isn't like the cleanest.
I mean, it's oil money.
Yeah.
I just am generally against oil money, anything. I don't invest in any oil stocks.
It's like sports washing in a way.
I mean,
it's
like our petroleum system is destroying the planet, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when you make a lot of money off that, at some point it's like, ugh,
right.
You know, it's kind of it's a tough thing. Anyways, it's the end of the pod.
We've hit past our allotted time.
If you're still here, you're a real one.
You're a real one.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening and see you next time.